Well, guess I better take this theorizing hat off because the devs played us. Blue Mammoth Games really they pay attention. They know that, I mean they pay. Of course, I know that they pay attention to the theories that I make, of course, and they watch my videos, but they also pay attention to the community in general and see what the community is saying. And well, before I actually get into the actual trailer here, I just wanted to point out just one little thing. So you know how there were two teasers on December 10th. Okay, two teasers. Here, let me just move this. There we go. Two teasers. One of them was this one with the binary, and the other one was this one. Eureka, Sandy, one of this done quicker than I defeated Von Evilstein over the English Channel. This did always strike me as a bit odd because this teaser is not like any of the other teasers we've had for this legend. And now we know that unless something crazy happens, this legend has nothing to do with Von Evilstein. It's not Von Evilstein. It just isn't. And I'm not even mad. I'm not even disappointed. There was a reason why I called it the theorizing hat. I used that hat as not only to show that I'm like going into wilder theories, but also to remind myself and to remind you that basically here I'll get to the video in a minute. That basically again when Thea was being teased, I thought that Thea was Hypernia. That was what and other people thought it was too. But I used a theorizing hat to remind myself that, and again to remind you that it might not be what we think it is. There might be a very strong theory that we have, but it ends up not being what it is, and that's okay. I was not disappointed with Thea, and I'm not disappointed with this either. I've never been disappointed by a legend because they've always been fantastic. Even if it's not what I think it might be or not what I hope it might be, I love this legend already, and I don't even know her lore yet. So, who is this legend, this robot face, this cannon spear that we keep seeing, the beep boop, check engine light, whatever, right? Okay, who is this? Well, let's watch the trailer first. And there you go. And that's it. 7 arriving on December 20th. I gotta say, first of all, I know the music is... I know I have the music pretty soft, but I love the music here. It's so in the BCX trailer when they were showing off the weapons, the music sounded a bit more like aggressive, a bit punchy, like or something like that. That was probably a terrible recreation of it, but here it's a lot more light, kind of like bouncy. I love that. It still has that sort of like tech feel to it, but now we have a better idea. But the music, I think, really carries at least the emotion of this trailer, along with the emotions shown on Seven's face. So let's do my standard frame by frame analysis here. So we're starting out here in the desert with this shed here. It's not really clear to me exactly what that says. It says something like human something, I think maybe, but clearly some sort of ramshackle shed. And we have all these like adorable little crab robots and stuff. Well, I'll talk about robots in a little bit. Yeah, we have these adorable little crab robots. All right, wonderful. I love them. I don't know if they're going to show up as like a sidekick or somewhere else, but I hope they appear somewhere. These adorable little robots. But yeah, this trailer that's just sort of clearly just been sitting here for a long time with a bunch of junk everywhere. I haven't noticed anything in the junk itself. Just like a street sign, car parts and stuff like that. Actually, so what this reminds me of. This all of this stuff reminds me of. I spent some time out in the desert, in the southwestern desert of the United States for a couple of years. And there are times where it looked very much like this, like random trailers, random like small houses, and like pieces of junk kind of like strewn around near those trailers, and stuff. I mean, it was a cool place, and the people there were lovely and everything. But this just kind of brings me back to the time when I was out there for a couple of years. But anyway, so we have somebody filling what looks to be a gasoline tank. This red tank up here that is the one being poured. I'm assuming it says diesel, and I'm assuming that because we're going to see Barraza in a moment, and Barraza's lore says that he has a diesel heart. His heart literally runs on diesel fuel. So I'm assuming that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing someone fill a tank or something with some diesel fuel, and then putting the can away. Just kind of like dropping it, I believe. Yeah, diesel. Yep. Yeah, the can bounces a bit. They start stepping over. So we already see these robot legs, and there's like pouches on the cape and everything. Or the jacket, I guess. Pretty cool. And I believe right about here is and here we see Barraza. And yeah, the Barraza's heart literally runs on diesel fuel. So we have this new character, the 7, hooking Barraza up to to a diesel pump, essentially. I really like the once again, fantastic animation here. Sorry, I had put gel in my hair earlier today, but just kind of fell apart now this evening. Fantastic animation as usual, right? Like I love the way that like they really just with simple movements they really sell the animation really sells the kind of like pressure that is being applied here. Like when the I love noticing little animation things like that. So like when the pipe's being like hooked up and everything, kind of like puts pressure on Barraza's chest, and his chest flattens a little bit, like that kind of thing. Yeah, like that. You can see that. And we can kind of see this character here. Interesting thing, I notice there's this symbol right here, which is not a symbol that I think we've seen before. Oh, I just realized. For the longest time, I thought it was an E, like a euro sign almost. No, it's a wrench. I was looking at the negative space. I was confused. It's just a wrench. That's pretty much all it is. It's a wrench symbol with a circle around it. So I was wondering what the heck that was. But no, I was looking at the negative. Sometimes when you look at the positive space or negative space and it just makes something look weird, that's what was happening. That's a simple wrench. I don't think there's really... This character is some kind of mechanic. Right. Also, as the diesel is being pumped, I love how Seven's hand is kind of like lightly. I'm assuming lightly touching Barraza's shoulder, kind of like as if being some kind of like gentle doctor or something. I'm very curious to know what the relationship is between these two characters, because Barraza is very much survival of the fittest, very much a selfish survival kind of guy out in these apocalyptic wastelands. But here we see Barraza benefiting from I assume the kindness of this mechanic, essentially taking care of his diesel heart, which is very touching. Also, I have not this hummingbird on the cap has not gone unnoticed. I don't know what that could mean. There's no references to hummingbirds in the lore as far as I know. The closest I can think of would be like, there's fairies and butterflies for like Arcadia or whatever, but I don't know what hummingbirds have to do with this. Hopefully there's at least a mention in the lore about this. But yeah, Also, is this the first time that we're seeing Barraza like without his shirt, like for this surgery or whatever? Technically, he is shirtless. Um, here, yeah. So technically, we do see him shirtless all the time, but like most of the chest is covered by these like shoulder pads and these tubes and everything like that. So yeah, so we really only saw like the bottom part of his chest. So this is really the first time that we're really seeing like what the rest of the chest looks like, which is actually pretty cool because I'm noticing just now his chest has some kind of I think like a bull. Like is that like a cow skeleton kind of thing going on, like with horns? And in a desert you usually see some kind of like, at least in a cartoonish desert, when you see something that's like devoid of life, you see some kind of like cow skull, which is this sharp, pointy, angular skull with horns. That's what this looks like to me. I don't think that's a reference to Taros because Taros lived in a very, very different time and place than Barraza did. But I guess Barraza just kind of has this sort of like tough, bull like kind of like appearance. Anyway, so he's starting to breathe more, and he's starting to come to and everything. I love the small touches here with, Barraza's waking up and kind of like, oh, what's going on, And here we get our first real glimpse from Barraza's point of view as of the character of Seven, and this is, of course, the robot face we've been seeing throughout all these trailers. And my goodness, this robot is adorable. Just look at this. Look at this. Look at this adorable beep boop face. Come on. And then, oh my gosh, and just like hi there. We don't actually hear any voices, but that's just kind of what I imagine. Seven, the engineer, and so we get a full view of the character Seven. We see a 07 on her chest there, like a large like kind of trench coat looking thing, a pack around her shoulder. Before moving on, I want to point out a few details that I've noticed in here. First of all, this is, well, let me get rid of the webcam for a moment. So in the bottom right corner there is that's a sidekick, isn't it? That's one. Forgot the name of the sidekick, but it's that one robot sidekick. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. You can find that sidekick in Brawlhalla. Whatever the name is, it's escaped me off the top of my head. Also, I want to point out this blue poster, with the owl face back here. I think, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that says Night Owls, which is very interesting because Night Owls is the name of Sentinel's talk show. Or Henry Coates' talk show, because Henry Coates is the full name, and then Sentinel is the hero name. So, which is weird because so Barraza's lore actually gives us, we actually know when Brawlhalla was alive on Earth. The apocalypse happened in 2150, and Brawlhalla was born 50 years later. So this is like the early 23rd century, like the first half of the 2200s, essentially. The first half of the 2200s, basically. Sentinel, on the other hand, lived in 1987, 1990, early 2000s, like 200 years before, about 200 years before Barraza. So I have no idea why there's a reference to night owls here. It's just very odd to me. And maybe it's not night owls. I don't know. Maybe it's just referring to something else. But it's odd to me. It's something I've noticed. So we'll see. And then last thing I want to point out is this lamp right here. Some other, when I was talking with lore nerds in our lore book club Discord server, people pointed out that this looks like the Pixar lamp. And I think that actually is, I think that is a reference to the Pixar lamp, because there's a lot going on here that is very reminiscent of the movie WALL-E, the Pixar movie WALL-E. Obviously there's no direct riff-offs here, but there's clearly some WALL-E inspiration in Seven's design, right? Because if you took WALL-E and Eve from that movie and kind of like combined their designs, I think you would get something similar to to 7 here, because 7 has this kind of like, roughly put together kind of like grungy look, whereas her face is more like, it's more like Eve, right? So there's a bit of Wally and Eve in there, and also the fact this is like a post-apocalyptic, thing with a robot. Anyway, I think that's cool. That may or may not be a reference to Pixar, but if it is, that's a really wonderful nod, because Wally is one of my absolute favorite animated movies, just in general, not just from Pixar, but in general. But yeah, so here we have 7, the engineer, more specifically the Free Heart engineer. If we go down here, we can see the developers have described, 7, the Free Heart engineer, rides her way into Valhalla on December 20th. And by the way, that's why I've been using she, her pronouns for 7, because that's what the developers have been using. And so this is going to be yet another character in Brawlhalla where people are going to be like, wait, that's a girl? Same thing with Nyx, same thing with Val, same thing with Artemis, same thing with Onyx or Mako. That's, yes, 7 is female, 7 is a she. I'm interested to see one very interesting, so I mean, there's lots of things I'm interested in, but I'm curious, how is there a robot here so the apocalypse that Barraza and 7 are lived in, the apocalypse in 2150 started because the Myers Baby Food Corporation, the MBFC from Miami Dome, the corporation from like Ada and Val's like place, the MBFC released this cloud of nanobots to shut down everything that ran on computer circuitry, to try to get rid of like a rival or something like that. And I think they were trying to target Ada back in 2150. And that was only meant to last like 15 minutes or a very short time, but it never stopped. Everything that ran on computer circuitry, every electronic device shut down. And because in Miami Dome, in a cyberpunk setting, pretty much everything ran on computer circuitry, that's how the apocalypse happened. And now 50 years later, Barraza was born, and now we're probably like 20, 30, 40 years after that, after Barraza was born, and here we are. So is this just a case? So how is there a robot here then? That's the question. Because computer circuitry all shut down back in 2150. Did it just take 50 plus years for a robot to be built and to be working or something? Like how is 7 existing as a robot? Because you could argue that maybe she runs on diesel fuel or something like that, but that screen, that face that she has is clearly like some kind of, I don't know, LED like type screen, like or whatever. Like she changes her expressions like a computer screen. So there's something going on here. And I'm interested to know what that is. I'm very interested to how she came to be, because this is a rather intriguing mystery, I think, which of course will be solved in a little over a week from now, because she's going to be released in a week from this Wednesday on December 20th, which is very exciting. The devs were able to sort of sneak in one last legend at the end of the year, which is really impressive. Wonderful. I love the fact that her spear seems to be a wrench, I guess. So that's different than the spear that we saw in the alpha gameplay, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, another reason why I'm excited about this is Barraza is so pretty much every legend is connected to another legend in some way, and many legends have met at least one other legend before Valhalla, right? Barraza, however, is one of the least connected legends. Yeah, there's reference to like Miami. There's kind of a reference to Miami Dome and like Ada and Val and all of that in his lore, but that was 50 years before he was born. And now at this point he's probably like, what, I don't know, in his 30s or something. So Barraza here is really 80 years removed from any Brawlhalla legends that we're aware of, except for 7 now. And so now we finally have more. So the only information we ever had about Barraza's time and place was from Barraza's lore, We didn't have any other connections to that from anywhere. Until now. Now we have 7. And I'm very interested to hear what, learn more about this part of the Brawlhalla universe, timeline, whatever, right? Anyway, and then obviously just go back to the last part. We have the full splash art of 7, with another really adorable expression on her face, riding this saucer-looking thing, which is we saw that as her spear side sig, I believe, in the BCX trailer. But yeah, also I think some people pointed out that her face and ear designs are very similar to, if not taken directly from, alpha or beta versions of Brawlhalla, when the bots would look like kind of like that. Actually, I think she looks very much like an old Brawlhalla bot character, essentially. Like, and bot as in, like, stand-in for non-human player, essentially, like random or something like that. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Wow, I really didn't think I would have a lot to say for this 38-second trailer, but apparently I had about 21 minutes worth. So, but yeah, I'm very, very excited to read her lore and to play with this Cannon Spear character. What do you think about this character? Are you excited for it? Because goodness knows I am. Even if she's not Von Evilstein, she looks absolutely wonderful and delightful, and I look forward to meeting her on December 20th. So, but yeah, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, all the best.